Hello, welcome. We are here with Gerry Crispin, and I'm calling him or praise him as one of the fathers of the candidate experience. Gerry, would that be correct, or is it just my imagination?
Well, I'm certainly old enough from that perspective.
Okay.
Wolfgang.
Besides from being old enough, is there something behind it? Candidate experience and yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I have been working for 40 years in recruitment. Worked for 10 years after my graduate work for Johnson and Johnson, and most of it was in recruiting itself. So I've really had a lifelong love of recruiting.
Hmm.
And at every stage was very concerned about how each of the stakeholders in the process were treated. And I found that no one cared about the candidate for many years. I spent a lot of time telling people how bad we treated them, but I only discovered in the last few years by telling them how good they are treated and by measuring its impact on corporate performance that we started to make some change.
Okay, then maybe you could, a little bit in detail, short, how do you and others maybe develop the idea of the Candidate Experience Awards?
We realized that in order to get to it, we had to be able to survey. I mean, you can't do it on a one-to-one basis. There would not be, from a labor point of view, it just wouldn't work. So I twisted a number of arms of very smart people, many with doctorates in survey design, helped them, got them to help us think about what are the touch points during the course of recruiting that people should be looking at when we talk about this treatment, and then started looking at how would we then measure whether we're doing well or not. And we realized that at some point we have to start asking the candidates of the people who are doing the application. And so we've been building that over time.
Okay, and so you have some scientific background then included, and then you started it out. What have been the roadblocks and the first successes?
Well, I think just the reluctance of corporations. Well, there's really two. One is the reluctance of corporations really to look in the mirror for themselves. So why should I spend time looking at how I treat candidates? Does this have an impact on us? And it's a chicken and egg question in the sense that until we start measuring how we're treating them, we can't really create a baseline for its impact on the corporation itself, in terms of whether people will reapply, whether they would actually refer others, whether they would even continue to buying your product if they were treated badly as well as positively. So that was really the first issue, is just getting them to begin to look at that, and timing is the important part of that. The second, be honest, is that if they do all of those things and find that they are treating candidates poorly and those candidates are rating them poorly, they don't want the public to know that.
Understandable.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So we promised that anyone whose ratings were poor would remain anonymous.
Yeah. And we keep this in the DACH Candidate Experience Awards as well. So every company then can take part, but nobody will know if they have a bad or they give a bad experience to their candidates. Makes sense. Right. Where do you see the business case for improving the candidate experience? If as a last question on the past,
I think the main business case for this is really threefold. First is that issue of whether or not people who are quality candidates would in fact convert if their experience was bad. So would they be willing to work for you if you gave them a bad enough experience? Would they be willing to get the experience they need to come back and compete for a new job and reapply? Would they share their information with other individuals in a way that would allow for more people to come to you who have quality backgrounds because they're being referred even by people who did not get the job?